board members of the Franco-Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, representatives of government agencies present, members of the Nigerian and French business community, person of the press, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear friends. Let me start by wishing you all a happy new year, as I'm still allowed to do so today. May 2023 be a year of accomplishment for all your projects, whether personal or professional, and thus see the economic ties between Nigeria and France be significantly strengthened. I'm truly delighted to welcome you to this first business meeting of the Franco-Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for 2023, whose theme, Nigeria in 2023, business, politics, and everything in between, sounds particularly appropriate. I remember saying exactly a year ago, during the Chamber's first business breakfast in 2022, that when it comes to economics, forecasting is very difficult, is always difficult. I'm still convinced of this, and when you add keenly contested general elections to the equation, then the challenge is even higher. Political environment is very important for business, as Moses just mentioned, and all eyes will be on Nigeria at the end of February, on Nigeria as a big democracy on the African continent. So all we wish for is definitely a free and fair, transparent and peaceful election.
We do not take a stand on any political view. We do not take a stand. We are not partisan. Because the theme of today's event is talking about the Nigerian economy in an election year. We're trying to analyze the issues as they are, and most especially as they affect your business, right? Because businesses do not operate in a vacuum. You operate in an environment. So if the Nigerian environment is experiencing, you cannot discount the political environment. In fact, the political environment plays a more fundamental role in even businesses than any other variable that we might want to mention. And in an election year that is tightly contested, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, I think, maybe Dr. Agbakuba would have to correct me on that, those that have been here before me, we are having a three-horse race in this 2023 election, tightly contested. We might expect that there might be issues of re-election. But with all these facts, how does it affect the businesses that are domiciled in this environment? That is why we have brought you here this morning today to talk about the Nigerian business environment, business, politics, and everything in between.
The environment itself started in 2023 bleak, and for us, we feel it's still very bleak because there's so much that has not been resolved. We hope at the end of this breakfast meeting, the expert here will give all of us some hope, and they will be able to tell us how we're going to navigate if the environment will become harsh or unfriendly.
Now, for those of us in this room, in the formal economy, it's a bit of a pain. But if you think about the impact on the informal economy, think of let me take it down to the micro level. Think of the vulcanizer. Think of the guys who do washing. How do you pay them? They don't use POS, they don't use transfer. So how do you pay your vulcanizer who's just fixed your tire if you don't have cash in your wallet? So this is going to be extremely destructive of the informal economy. Now, to give you a semblance of what this means for Nigeria, according to the CBN governor, out of the total 3.7 trillion cash in supply, only about 500 billion is in the banking sector, and a whopping 1.3 trillion is outside of the banking sector. Obviously, some people might have some cash under their beds, who knows, but one can imagine that at least 40 to 50% of that cash is what fuels the informal economy. So you go outside of Lagos, you see those guys on the road who put their wares on the road. You can buy plantain, you can buy yams. Those guys are hugely cash. You want to travel from Ibadan to Oshogbo, it's cash.
security is usually for the last 2 elections, security has been the reason why elections were postponed, if you remember. And there has been some rising clamor to do that again. However, it appears that there's political will not to postpone the elections this time. So it's unlikely to happen.
Good things the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has done is to consistently ensure that we have finance acts to kind of support the budgets.
Yes.
So the 2019 Finance Act started by touching up the VAT rate and moved on to 2020 Finance Act, and that's where we saw the president try to support the SMEs. That's when you saw, okay, we have the Finance Act defining who is a small company,
Yes.
who is a medium company, who is a large company. So in that aspect, one would say that the Finance Act has tried to ease the way business is done in Nigeria. I also think that from the implementation perspective, when you look at the FRS chairman, the other tax authorities, I think they've done so well too, because in quite a very long time, we've not seen taxpayers being able to get their tax clearance certificate in a click, and that is what is happening now.
Okay.
So generally, I think the Finance Act has done so well.
But I think what we need to take out of here is the role that business can play. There's a role that business can play, and partly what I'm doing here now is education. If you didn't know that you have to have 2 processes, please know that now. If you go to vote, insist to see your name on the BVAX. Have to do 2 things. You have to show your card, get accredited, demand to see that your name is on it, and then vote. That's the only way your vote will count.